I was just want to say welcome to everybody. Certainly our incoming freshmen families, our new families, and our returning families. The high school council is very excited to start off the year with an all in-person learning, so many student activities in person, extracurricular at the school. Again, I know we say it a lot, but I don't think we can say enough. Our administration, our faculty, our staff, all continue to work to create a stellar working environment in person, and it is very appreciated. So I just wanted to say that to start off. I was going to take a just a very quick moment and introduce myself. For those that don't know, I'm Amy Weiser, and I am your high school president, council president this year. Emily Liggett, who is on, is our president-elect. Sarah Clifford's our secretary. I don't think she's on. Unfortunately, she's got a family situation. And Larissa Montesano is our treasurer this year. So our full council is on the PTA website. Please go peruse that and use it. All of our names, emails, mobiles are on there, especially if you're looking for something specific that you'd like to volunteer for. Go to check that out, but you're welcome to reach out to any of us at any time. And so with that, I think we'll just go ahead and start. So we're going to start with our superintendent's update. So Dr. Montesano.
Great. Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you all. And Amy, thanks for those very kind words. And it really took the effort of many people, including our community, to allow us to be able to do what we do. So thank you in advance. And certainly if a pandemic didn't shut us down, we weren't going to let a flood shut us down either. So while we're still recovering somewhat from the initial flood that we have, it was a little touch and go there in the beginning, whether we're going to actually start on time or not. But thanks to a lot of flexibility by a lot of people and Anne and her team's skills of putting jigsaw puzzles together, such as scheduling and rooms, that somehow we all fit in the building, even though we didn't have use of the entire first floor. But we're happy to be here. The kids are really thrilled that we're in person and seemingly normal in most aspects. So it's really terrific because, you know, the school's fun, but it's not much fun without kids. So we're happy certainly happy to have them back in person with us again. Just very quickly on the flooding side and the facility side, we're almost put back together again. The two big areas that took the most damage were our two gyms, the main gym and the blue gym. We've made some really terrific progress in getting them back open again. I was down in the main gym today, and almost all the hardwood is back on top again. So they're going to start to sand that, and it's a process. So we're anticipating reopening the main gym by the end of October. We were shooting for the beginning of basketball season. I think we're going to actually be earlier than that. So we're hoping that that'll get us going by the end of October, which is nice because right now phys ed classes have primarily been outside, and with the weather getting cooler and such, it'd be nice to have a gym back again. The blue gym actually could be back online within a couple of weeks. That's a little bit faster. They don't use actual wood there, but things are pretty much laid down or close to it anyway. So within a couple of weeks, we hope to have those two, at least the blue gym, and then by the end of October, the main gym back online again. The Innovation Center is also getting put back together. We had to take out all the cabinetry, the storage cabinets that were in there, and replace sheetrock, which they've done. And we're going to put back cabinets that actually roll under the counters for storage. So in the event that there's a bad weather forecast, we can roll everything back out and not have to go through this every time. The guidance counselor suite, they're back in their offices again, and they'll be ordering some new furniture to get again, because their furniture did get ruined. And hopefully we have doors, or at least temporary doors, getting put back up as well. So it's starting to look more like it should look. Fortunately, the new atrium did not really take on any damage, a little bit of water, but nothing substantial. So that's been open since day one. It looks terrific. Hopefully everybody had a chance to come check it out. But if you haven't, we really encourage you to go see it. But we're just about there with our facilities, which is really good news. And on the COVID front, Hillary, I'm just loving the little son back there slinking in the refrigerator. On the COVID front, fortunately, knock on wood, we've been very fortunate that we haven't really had very many cases impacting our school. I think we've had maybe one student test positive, and then a family member, a couple other students test positive, say had a quarantine, but really very, very minimal, which is really terrific, and really credit to our parents and community for wearing masks and getting vaccinated when you can, and things like that. I know there are other districts around us that are continuing to have to quarantine large numbers of kids. They've had 16, 20, 30 cases of COVID in their schools. We haven't experienced that yet. Hopefully we won't. We are going to be starting a COVID testing program very soon. It's been it's one of the requirements that we have from the County Board of Health. The county received a grant from the federal government to do testing. And we're working with Mount Sinai Hospital to do the saliva tests. So we're just working on the final logistics of that. The Board of Education last night passed the resolution for the memorandum of agreement with Mount Sinai to begin this week. We're hoping to send out an email explaining everything and asking people for consent to have their children tested randomly. We can't do without consent, so we hope people will consider that. Our first step is, after we get consent, we'll do a gateway testing, meaning we'll test as many people as we can, all staff members included, and whatever children give us consent. They'll have a team of people here to do the initial one. And after that, weekly, we'll be trying to test 20% of our in-school population, which includes staff, secretaries, clericals, whoever else, and students. So randomly select 20% for the saliva tests, as well as our any unvaccinated staff have to get tested every week. And basically what's going to happen once the after the gateway testing is, whoever provides consent will randomly select, and children will be sent home with the test tube, if you will, asked to put the saliva in the tube, bring it back the next day. They collect them, and we get results back within 24 hours. So it's just another step in trying to keep everyone safe throughout this entire COVID period. So be looking for that in the mail or email at least, and hopefully you'll cooperate, or many people will cooperate, so we can get this thing moving. We did have a board meeting last night. It was a Board of Ed workshop. It's kind of a nice meeting for us to have, because we go over our long-range planning goals, and a lot of strategic goals were discussed last night with our Board of Education. The administrative team was there from members from each school, going over some of the initiatives and innovations that they have going on. We're going to try to post the PowerPoint onto our site so people can look at it. But it's if you saw it, you'd be very impressed with the amount of activity that we have going on in our school. And for us, it was really nice to get away from pandemic and floods and really talk about educational initiatives that we were pursuing. So be on the lookout for that. And just a final thank you to the PTA, Jen Heathwood and Leah, especially, as was Ashley Chang, for the COVID time capsule dedication. We had a really nice dedication on Saturday morning. I believe it is on our YouTube channel as well, but if you get a chance, stop by the atrium, look in the window. It really looks terrific. They did such a beautiful, beautiful job, and I'm just so impressed, and we're so fortunate to have people to continue to work with us on those kind of things. So all in all, I think we're off to a good start. Hope it continues throughout. It was a great homecoming week as well. I see Joe Haven on the call. Joe, congrats again on a beautiful homecoming week. Good time was had by all. And that's it. So I look forward to seeing you soon, more in person again. And here's to a good year. So thanks, Amy.
Great. Thank you so much. Wonderful. That's all very exciting. Jim's back, and I think testing is such a key piece to the COVID just process. So I'm excited to hear that that's going to happen. I'm with you. We second. We hope everybody puts the consent in and we get as big a population as we can. So that's great news. Anne, you're up.
Sure. Thanks, everybody. Great to see you. Just echoing Roy's thank you to the high school PTA for all of your support last year into the spring. I think we ended actually in a great way last year with many, many activities for our students. And now we're starting out the year in even better shape. And you can feel the energy in the school, faculty, staff, students. It's just very joyful. Roy said a few of the things I was going to mention. I just want to clarify that the positive case was not a high school student. So it was, actually, I'm not even going to say it because homecoming just happened. So I'm a little bit worried what might happen in the next 5 to 10 days, but that's okay. We made it this far and we will keep going. So we started out the year with things that we haven't been able to do in at least a year, and they're really exciting, like the activities fair. We invited our 9th graders to come see all the over 30, I think we have 36 clubs. If you don't know about them, there is a link to a list of all of the clubs on the high school website under school info. And if you noticed, I restarted something that I did maybe 2 years ago, which is the week ahead. Just so everything is in one Google Doc, you can access it. Your child gets access to it. It just shows what's happening each day. And then in that doc has some links you might need, week to week, month to month. And so what we were able to do with that is club advisors, club presidents list if they're having a club meeting that week. So there's a lot of different ways for students to be aware of what clubs are meeting, what they are, and students are welcome to go to any club meeting. They're open to all students. And for 9th graders and new students, we really, really recommend going to a bunch of different club meetings and seeing what they enjoy. So that activities fair was wonderful. And then we actually also opened it up to 10th graders because they didn't have one last year. The cafeteria was full of students learning about all the exciting things going on. And so there was a lot of energy. That was the first week of school. We also sort of gave the 9th grade parents a little overview of the high school. And if you missed that, that is, I believe I emailed that out, or maybe Aaron did. And if anyone needs that, let us know. We recently had back to school night. It was virtual again. It went well. I feel it could go better. I have very high expectations for how things should be organized. So, of course, it was virtual again this year, and we have no idea what it will be next year. But if we have a choice, we'll probably survey parents in terms of what is more useful, convenient, et cetera. As a parent of middle school students, it was nice for me actually in my own district to just hop on the computer and go to back to school night. So I know people have different perspectives on that, but I'll just say that we are looking at the possibility of having departments develop the videos about every course in the high school and then create an interactive course catalog. So like you saw at back to school night, but just so that if students want to learn more about a class or parents do, we would have that accessible all year. So I think that's a nice thing that's come out of the virtual back to school night. Last week, as Roy said, we had a wonderful homecoming week full of school spirit, tons of fun, great games, wonderful, community celebration of our students. We started PA announcements. We've never had those. Just in the high school, that went well. And I think we're going to continue that when there's various events for any theater, arts, sports, clubs. We're going to be doing those. The kids really liked them. They liked hearing one another's voices and some recognition for what all the amazing things students are doing in the school. Coming up, we have Picture Day Friday for 9th through 11th graders. Remember, 12th graders are getting senior portraits, so we don't do Picture Day for them at school. And then we're doing the group photos of each grade on Friday. There will be a group photo of the senior class next week. I'll send an email out about that, and June Greenspan will come and do that. So we're getting all of that done next week. Erin will probably mention this. We're administering the PSAT in school. Let's see. I guess, what I would say, we also, our senior class leaders and the senior class parent chairs hosted a really nice event this week. It was just cookies and coffee for the seniors, a little break to say, how's it going? This may be a little bit stressful, but we're all in it together. And the senior class leadership put together like a sheet of tips, how to sort of remain calm and sane during the fall. It was actually a great sheet. We were all really impressed by it, and they passed it out to everyone. The students were the seniors were just so grateful. They thought it was just such a nice event and such a nice way to kind of get together. There were these great little cookies that said class of 22. So I was talking to the senior class leaders, just saying it's nice to just do these not extravagant, difficult to organize things, but some of these, check-in things maybe more often. So they were really looking forward to maybe doing some more of that. Later in the month, we'll be doing the Halloween celebration for the seniors. Not 100% sure how that'll happen, because we're also doing the high school play at the end of the month. More information will come out about this, but the high school play is going to be outdoors. It is the Crucible. And so having it outdoors at the end of October is actually perfect timing. It'll be in the location that we had the play and the musical in last spring, right on the steps of the auditorium lobby, which is where we would put the Halloween assembly, because we don't have a gym, but maybe we'll have a gym. So you never know. A lot of things could happen. We're prepared to do whatever we need to do in the building or outside the building to make the Halloween celebration for our seniors happen. I did want to mention the faculty are kind of in conversation. We had a faculty meeting last week, and we have another one tomorrow, talking about, what we're noticing with how students are doing now that we're fully back in person all day, every day, and sports are back and clubs are back. So it's a lot, I think, and you may be noticing this for your own children. There's a lot of talk about gaps. What are the gaps from COVID? And I would say we're in very good shape. If you think about it, our students were in person more than most high school students in the country, but we are still noticing things because they were behind plexiglass and, sometimes on Zoom last year. So we're spending time as a faculty talking about those things. And I'll just mention a few things we're going to be working on with students. One is time management. This is something we work on with students all the time. This is part of high school. But what we're noticing is maybe like our 10th and 11th graders maybe don't have the time management skills we would expect for their grade level, just because they were going through COVID. So what the teachers are doing are going to be infusing a little more instruction and guidance around how do you plan your time? How do you manage your time? And the guidance counselors and Dr. Viviano as well. What are some strategies we can use? Another thing is executive functioning, which is related. Time management is part of executive functioning. But here's something the teachers were mentioning, like students come into class and they sit down and they just wait for the teacher, even though there's a do now on the board, even though class has started. So what are these routines for being a student? Come into class, get your notebook out, get a writing utensil out, begin the do now. A teacher maybe shouldn't have to say that. So we're working on those things. But again, we were all over the place last year. Kids were lucky. They knew when to come into the building part of the year. I did email them every day to tell them. But these are skills we're returning to with our students. As far as faculty, what faculty are reporting is maybe there's a wider range of abilities and where kids are at in their room than what they might typically see. So they're working on differentiating their instruction to try to bring everyone to where they need to be at this point in the year. So that's going to take a little bit of time. I will warn you, faculty are holding to deadlines. Last year, there was some flexibility. Students are wanting the same flexibility. And we're saying, guess what? Learning how to meet a deadline is actually a life skill. So there may be consequences if your work is late. So, again, not trying to slam kids or anything like that, but just really building those skills and working with kids to make sure they're managing their time, they're getting the work in on time. A little more distractibility. I think students were used to being at home, being able to multitask, be on their phones, etc. Some teachers, a good number, are saying, put the computer down, get out a notebook. We're taking notes on paper. Again, for some students, that's going to be a better approach anyway. But regardless, we're trying to get rid of the distractions. And then the last I'll say is just stamina, their ability to sort of get through a longer term task in the course of a class period. That maybe they lost some of that, just like athletics. You got to work out and get back to your ability to sustain that. So we have some strategies that we're working on as a faculty. Certainly, if we have some things we want to communicate to parents so that you can partner with us, we're going to do that, whether it's through a high school council meeting or if Dr. Viviano hosts a session on some specific skill we might want to work on. I might communicate directly with this particular grade level of parents to say, this is what we're working on with ninth grade. Please support that at home. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. And then, of course, social, emotional health and well-being is very important. That came to the forefront during the pandemic, and I think that's here to stay. We have a group working with NRUSC, who we worked with last year, building some ideas that we are looking to launch in the high school, which we hope will foster a sense of belonging and build some more social emotional time into the day. So I'll come back with that when it's more formed a little bit later in the year to share specifics. But in any case, that's where we're at. That's what we're working on. And I'm happy to take questions at any point, but also don't hesitate to email me at any point if anything comes up.
Great. Thank you, Anne. Yeah, you're welcome. Everyone is welcome to throw anything in the chat too if you have a question. So far, so good. But thank you. And I do want to let you know that I have already had feedback about the week ahead emails. People are very happy to have them again. So that's been wonderful. So I've already gotten people saying, is she going to do them all year? I said,
I will. I
yes,
will do
okay,
them
good.
all
I'll
year.
tell
Don't
them.
worry.
Yes. So that's great. So fantastic. There's so much good stuff going on. I think, to your point, I think Bronxville's going to be in pretty good shape on the gap issue. And I think the faculty and administration is on top of it. And I think the kids are too, to some extent. To some extent, they're noticing and being able to actually identify a little bit, which is also a life skill. So that's good as well. At least with my 10th grader, I've noticed that. So that's been good. And he's been going to extra help. So that extra help is always a benefit. So thank you. All right, next up is our Director of Counseling, Aaron Kind. I know you're on.
Yes, good evening. I'm here. Thank you, Amy. Hi, everybody. Just again, it's so great to see so many students in the building. Although we can't see all their faces, we can see through their masks, with their eyes, that they're smiling, they're happy. Monday's coffee and cookies was quite nice to see so many students sort of enjoying themselves. But as Anne did mention, it is the fall, which means the senior class is busy applying to college. So just a few things to note on that front. We do have college visits for the seniors. They're both in person and virtual, depending upon each institution's traveling agenda. The schedule is actually on our school website. It's on Naviance. It was constantly being updated. Now I think it's sort of like dying down in that everybody that's going to come by in some form has signed up. Those meetings were bouncing around based on space, but have now landed in the fireplace room. So we have space for the students to get onto a computer or obviously meet with the rep in person if they're coming to the building. The other thing I will mention is just in terms of early applications, we've asked the seniors to let their counselor know if they're applying early by the middle of this month. So if there's a November 1st deadline, they should contact their counselor as soon as possible, but at the latest October 15th. And if there's a November 15th deadline, again, to contact your counselor as soon as possible, but at the latest October 30th. And that's, and the seniors are busy, they're coming down, it's great. The four of us were in different locations for a little bit. We're all back together. We have some temporary desks, we have chairs, everybody's back in one place. So there's a lot of hustle and bustle in our offices, which is very nice to see and very welcome. As Anne mentioned, next Wednesday is the PSAT. This is for juniors and sophomores. You can pay through a family ID link that I emailed out to everybody. If you don't have it, you can email me and I can send it to you. If you can't get the My School Bucks thing to work, you can mail us a check. I think it's $18. And so that's gonna be next Wednesday. We are meeting soon to talk about testing locations because we used to do this in the gym, so we don't have a gym. So we're gonna have to figure out a new place for the students that signed up. So if you did sign up, we will be emailing you. I'll probably email you on Friday or early next week to just tell the students where to report to. And then lastly, we are very excited that we were able to start the year for freshman transition in person. We had a meeting at the start of school and we're having another meeting this week on Thursday. And to kind of piggyback on Anne's point, one of the many things that we discovered with the help of NRUST that the students were missing during the pandemic or the experience that was, sort of hybrid learning was just this sense of community and relationship building. And so Thursday's theme is just that. We have a great little icebreaker for the seniors to run with the ninth graders about getting to know each other and then delving in to talk to them to see if they've joined any clubs or if they have any questions about clubs. To Amy's point, if they're going to extra help, why you want to go to extra help, just sort of getting them familiar with different ways to meet others, both in their grade and in the other grades, and also meet with their teachers, right? Like the students miss meeting with the students, but the teachers also miss meeting, having these time with the students that wasn't behind plexiglass and on the computer. So, it's triangulated, right? It involves all of us, and we want to get back to that normal we were used to as soon as we can. And so we're looking forward to Thursday's session. And I think with that, that's about it. If anybody needs that link, you can reach out to me. And as Anne mentioned, if you have any other questions, I'm also available. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. I did get two questions. One is there still time to sign up for the October 13th PSAT?
Yes.
Okay. And then the other one is there another PSAT date in the spring, or is this it? Yeah,
so there's still time to sign up. The link that I sent out is going to close, I think, actually tomorrow or the next day. But if you contact me, we could, there's not like a capacity by any stretch of imagination. You just have to let me know. I was just trying to get a total number so I can figure out how many rooms we need. This is the only PSAT that's sponsored by the College Board. So, students will take the test next Wednesday. The results come back in December for the juniors. they're eligible for the National Merit Scholarship. For the sophomores, it's truly just practice, but it's as close as to the real thing as you can get. And it's the only one that will be offering. Not to steal any thunder, but I do know the junior class is sponsoring some practice exams. So if you're not ready or Wednesday doesn't work for you, I would probably look to that venue to get some practice standardized testing in.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, great. Next up is Mr. Haven, our athletic director.
Good evening, everyone. Just a few brief items. Next week basically ends the regular season, believe it or not, for team sports except football. Football continues on one more week. So we're almost to playoffs. Our tennis begins playoffs this weekend coming up. And then cross country goes a week past everybody. So we're moving right along, and believe it or not, we're almost to the winter season. Family ID for the winter season will open up on October 15th or 16th. And that's because our practices begin November 15th. So Family ID opens up 1 month prior to the start of the winter season for the high school sports. I would like to take this time to thank all the parents who've been transporting their children. I know sometimes it's difficult, but we are having a heck of a time with busing. So I do appreciate that. And there's no drivers, and we're really in a pickle. And as you saw if you were at our girls soccer game yesterday, Hastings has no drivers either, and they showed up about 45 minutes late. So it's really impacted, obviously, the end of the fall season here because it gets dark quickly. But I do appreciate all the efforts that all the parents are making and the coaches are making, driving themselves and transporting their children to events. And we're hoping that by the end of the week, we can start doing our signups on Family ID. We're working with them right now to make it a little bit easier. It would still take coordination amongst teams to figure out who's carpooling with who, but at least the sign up part would be a little bit easier. It'd be electronic, and coaches would get notifications every time a child signed up or a parent signed up to either drive their children or to have their children be transported by another adult. So with that being said, like I said, I appreciate everybody's help, and we look forward to a strong playoff season here. And then we look forward also, obviously, getting the gyms back and getting ready for our winter season. Thank you.
Great, fantastic. All right. Okay, so moving right along, I was going to just go ahead and start with our grade chairs. I was going to start with our 9th grade, which is Wendy Halley and Sarah Loader, but I don't see either one on. Which doesn't surprise me. In all honesty, this is the first meeting of the year. There is not a lot going on yet for the grade chairs. So I don't think that they probably have anything to report at this time.
I will say the 9th grade elections are happening at the end of this week. So by early next week, we'll have the student leadership in place for 9th.
Okay, great. 10th grade, I think we have Janet and Amy both on.
And I'm here too, Amy. It's just under my
great, Carrie.
husband's name.
Great.
Yeah. But so we did get an update from Dana Landsman. Actually, Amy Krause communicated with her this week. She is meeting with the grade representatives from the 10th grade. The thinking right now is that there could be interest in proceeding with the Veterans Gift Drive, which apparently back in 2019, I'm not sure about last year, but 2019 was something that was executed and accomplished. So the thought is maybe that's on the table for discussion, but how Dana left it with us is that following her meeting by the conclusion of this week, we'll get some insight from the class as to what they're thinking of proceeding with. But that's our first indications that might happen in the November, December timeframe.
Fantastic.
And Janet and Amy, if you're on, if I missed anything or left anything out, please feel free to add.
No, we just, we're here to support the sophomore class and Miss Landisman. So whatever they decide, we're going to be here for them.
Fantastic. Great. Juniors are Courtney, Laura, and Vanessa. I know that Courtney and Laura both could not make it. Vanessa, I don't think is on either. So they just asked me to reiterate what actually Aaron brought up, which is one of the major junior class fundraiser is the the mock SAT and ACT tests that are sponsored. There was an email that went out to the juniors and seniors regarding the mock SAT and ACT. All the proceeds, Bespoke does it in partnership with the junior class. All the proceeds go directly to the junior class. It's $35. The mock SAT is October 30th, and the mock ACT is November 13th. It's the best way for kids to decide which test is better for them. So they can take, if they know which one they're taking, they can just sign up for one, but they're welcome to sign up for both and take them both and then figure out which test works best for them. So it's a great fundraiser. It is the junior class's biggest one. And that was emailed. If anybody did not get the email that's interested, they can absolutely email any of the junior grade chairs or myself to get more information, but they did ask me to do that. There is, I think the deadline, I don't see an actual deadline, but I do know you have to register prior to the test. So with any questions, just let me know or reach out to Laura, Courtney, or Vanessa. And our 12th grade, we know Hillary's on because her kids are very hungry. And then I don't know if I didn't see Hillary, you might be it tonight.
I think I am at right now, based on what I see. Honestly, it's been fairly, we're doing a lot of things on the back end, but it's been a fairly quiet couple of months. As Ann mentioned earlier, Monday was a great success based on what the kids have expressed to us about the cookies and coffee and whatnot. And then we're moving forward with Halloween with the seniors and getting volunteers. And then honestly, a bulk of our work is going to be towards starting with Faculty Appreciation Day. So right now we're kind of in a holding pattern because the kids are finishing up their applications, happily finishing up their applications.
Yes, it's a busy time.
And eating food, 3 boys.
Yeah, and yes.
So anyway, but thank you. There's not a whole lot right now.
Great. Let me just check the chat. Oh, it says, so somebody did point out that the fundraiser is on the same day as the school play. I guess that means maybe, Anne, do you have the dates for the school play?
I do. The school play is on the 30th and the 31st at 3 p.m. if I remember correctly. I think that's a good point. I imagine they're going to do more of these. They usually do a number of the mock tests, and they're pretty easy to administer. So I think, I don't want to say that I haven't administered them, so I shouldn't say that. I don't know if they're easy to administer, but I know that many times the grade would do a number of them. So maybe that will solve that problem. I'm not sure.
Right. I think so. Yeah, that is a little bit of a challenge to your point, but I don't know what to do with that. They're both scheduled. They do a lot of them. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but they do a handful of them. So, all right. I don't think we have anyone on from Bold. It is good, by the way. Thank you for pointing that out, though, because it is good for people who are in the play to know that they very well may not want to be at an SAT from 8:30 to 12:30 if they're performing.
Amy, I can speak for Bold.
Oh, great. Okay, Leah, thank you.
Yeah, I know Neve couldn't be here tonight. So just the update with Bold is that we sent out a survey to the entire school. And we've gotten a lot of feedback so far. We're going to send out another email by the end of the week asking people to take the time that we're going to shut the survey so that we can go over the results. But that's basically what's happening with Bold right now. And from that information, we're hoping to plan a lot of great events and ways to help families in the Bold community throughout the school year.
Great.
If you have any questions, you can contact Neve or myself.
Okay, great. Fantastic. And you do have your first bold meeting on the 13th, correct, of October?
Yes, October 13th is the first all school, bold council meeting, which will be Zoom. And
Oh,
we'll
right.
send out notification for that as well.
Great. Great. Next up is Be Well. And I actually don't think we have anyone from Be Well on. But I was asked to give a little plug for Be Well. I think Be Well's good. They're gearing up for just a fantastic year. I think now more than ever, they feel, that the mental health, social piece is so important. So they're really working hard to plan a very productive year. The big piece that Jen wanted me to mention was that they did in fact secure Chris Heron to come back. He was scheduled for last year, but with COVID, and he will be here in March, on March 8th. So that's obviously a little bit out there, but we will obviously keep everyone posted on that. They're going to have much more in the works, and I know they're working on informational pieces as we speak. So, but they did want me to let everyone know about Chris. Leah, you're up again for DEI.
So the DEI is having its first committee is having its first forum next week in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. A high school parent, Cecilia Granda, is going to lead a panel to discuss sort of the themes of the movie In the Heights. We actually did a film screening this evening at the library. Obviously, many of us couldn't be there, but if you didn't get to go tonight to see the movie, that you can stream it to watch it. But the theme of the panel will not be specifically about the movie, so you don't have to actually see the movie to come to the panel. Cecilia actually grew up in Inwood, and she is going to talk about the title of the workshop is going to be Inwood to Bronxville, and the whole idea is how community is built in different places, and it'll discuss the Hispanic community we have here in Bronxville. And then moving forward, we will have these forums on different topics once a month throughout the school year. So you can look forward to seeing a lot of activity from the DEI committee as well this year. And then in the spring, we moved our international night to the spring because we felt like we needed more time to plan. So we'll be putting on an international night for the whole school in the spring.
Fantastic. Leah, what was the date for the first panel?
It's Thursday, October 14th at 7:30 p.m.
October. And is it via Zoom?
It's going to be via Zoom, yes.
Okay.
And I sent out an email, I think on Sunday, but I'll send another email out this week. You can register for the event, and we would love to get as many people to come as possible. It should be a really interesting conversation.
Absolutely. That's exciting. I'm very excited to see what you have planned for this year. I think it's fantastic that we've started this committee. So thank you for heading it up. It'll be really fun. So great. I did see the flyer, but October 14th at 7:30.
Yeah.
Everyone, great. Amy, our Bronxville Foundation rep, among other things, I think you are definitely on.
Thank you, Amy. As many of you know, through a grants program, the foundation significantly enhances the educational experience for all students at the Bronxville School. The foundation raises money each year from school families, alumni, and the community at large to fund initiatives beyond the school's budget. The foundation's 30-member board, comprised almost entirely of parent volunteers, works with administrators, teachers, and students to identify innovative ideas that will have the greatest impact on the most students. The foundation's grants program funds an array of initiatives in the arts, athletics, and all academic disciplines across Bronxville's elementary, middle, and high schools. This year is the foundation's 30th anniversary. Since 1991, the foundation has funded more than $11.5 million in grants for curriculum development and faculty training, new facilities and technology, and health and wellness initiatives. With the significant challenges of the pandemic, the foundation's work has been more important than ever. Grants over the last year helped the school to reopen safely, technologically outfit classrooms for hybrid learning, and support continued innovation of academic and extracurricular programming. We will be kicking off our community drive in late October, so please look out for our mailing. Our goal is to achieve 100% participation from school families this year. Please visit the Foundation's website at www.bronxvilleschoolfoundation.org to learn more about what the Foundation is doing to support our children. And please follow us on social media at Bronxville School Foundation. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you, Amy. Yes, and for our new families and the Bronxville Foundation is such a key piece to how the school district runs and operates, and it's well worth investing a little time to get familiarize yourself with it. And it's completely separate from the PTA. Both are very meaningful and provide very different services. So please go check out their website and support them if possible. I do not see Christine on for Youth Council. If anyone has any questions about Youth Council, they can reach out to Christine, and it's on the agenda. Mr. Russert works in hand with her, and you can reach out to him as well if you have interest in getting involved with Youth Council. So it's another great way to volunteer. And then Tempe, I believe you are on.
Yes, I am. I'm just going to quickly remind everybody to register or update your information on Membership Toolkit if you have not already done so. Even if your information hasn't changed, you need to go into Membership Toolkit each year to reactivate your account. It serves as the only school directory, and you must input your information yourself. It's the best way for the PTA to reach you about important events. The Membership Toolkit store is where you go to buy PTA memberships and tickets for school plays, fall socials, Memorial Day activities, and more. I can put the link in the chat, and also the link is on the agenda in the email that you received. We also hope that you will take a moment and join the PTA. Membership dues are the primary source of income for the PTA, and your donations fund and subsidize plays, the arts, community service clubs, guest speakers, graduations, and so much more. So please visit the Membership Toolkit store and purchase your membership. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Tempe. One thing to remember is Membership Toolkit is the only way we really know who's in class. For grades, lists, it's really important to sign up. It is our directory, and it's a real resource for everybody. So please sign up. I'm just.
Oh, actually, Amy, can I say something?
100%, yes.
Sorry, I'm turning a new hat for PTA socials. For the high school, it is sold out. And so people have asked, I'm working with a couple people to help with the high school socials as well. And people can come. You need to talk to Caitlin Graytrax, who is the host of the party, because I know people are trying to still get in to it, and you can still write checks to the foundation, or not to the foundation, excuse me, but to the PTA. So just reach out to her on that one, because there's an attrition rate. So just thinking of like the parties and such.
So Hillary, if people want to still sign up, can you toss her email into the chat, or?
I can't, I will do that.
Okay.
Yes, I will do that.
That would be great, because then, because I know I do
Sold
know
out very quickly, but I know that people have inquired. And so since I have high school there, anyway.
No, that's great, because I know I've been very excited. I think people are, it's been great to see the response on the socials. They're being, I think they're being done very responsibly, outside and capped and
Vaccinated.
and vaccinated. So I think what's nice to see is the support that we're getting. I think people are really, I think parents are as anxious to rekindle those social moments that their students, lacked. We all lacked as well. And so I'm excited to see that there's been such a great response to those socials. So thank you for mentioning that, Hillary. I do also want to share that, Mariana, you're on. You should actually be sharing this. Where are you?
Hi.
Nice try. Mariana's texting me and telling me things to say. I said, you know what? I know you're on. So please take one quick minute, because I think it's really important.
Well, good evening, everybody. Just very, very quickly. Sarah Pulkinen and I chair the apparel sale, and it was another huge success, another record breaking. And yes, we might choose the items, but we couldn't do this without the help of so many of you. I see many of you who volunteer, and I can't believe that you've been volunteering since elementary school and you still sign up. And we couldn't have a success without the shoppers. And again, many of you were there shopping. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I've heard I think the apparel was such a, it's always a hit. And it just really filled out homecoming week. And it was just a wonderful week to be on the Bronxville campus in general. So, and I didn't thank Mr. Haven for that, but homecoming was, and Ms. Meyer, both, what a success. And I'm just excited. What a kickoff to the year. And I'm excited to see what's in store for everyone. And listen, if we can end a high school council meeting in 52 minutes, every meeting, I will maybe be, a pretty popular president if we can actually do that. Leah, don't laugh as if there's going to just be more and more material as the time goes on. But that's all I have. There are upcoming dates that I put on the agenda. I live by the paper calendar that still goes out. I'm sure all of you do too. But please email with any questions, and I think we'll end this here, and I look forward to a great year. Thank you everyone for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.